Hello and welcome back. Today we're going to find out what a transformer actually is. Now, the transformer architecture was introduced by this team at Google in 2017 in a research paper that they published titled "Attention is All You Need." And this, for the first time, introduced the transformer AI model architecture. Now, this paper is very popular. It's been cited over 100,000 times, which is huge for a research paper in machine learning and AI. And this is what the transformer looks like. Now, don't be worried. We're not going to go into detail about each one of these parts or the internal workings of a transformer. You don't need to know that for the exam. I'm just showing you this picture so you know roughly what it is about. And if you ever see it, you'll know, oh, this is a transformer. It might win some trivia nights. Now, it has two parts. It's got the encoder and decoder. And it was originally designed for translation tasks. And that's why it has those two parts. But for the purpose of large language models, they actually later, not that same team, but other people later took this part, the encoder, and they threw it out. They basically removed the encoder and they ended up with this decoder-only architecture. And that is the basis of large language models. It's able to generate language and actually able to do translation too. It's been adapted to do translation. It's even more efficient than the two-part architecture. And it's in the foundation of models such as ChatGPT. By the way, GPT stands for Generative Pre-trained Transformer. Llama from Meta, Claude from Anthropic, and many other models. Now, again, we're not going to go into detail on this architecture, but what I do want to say is that this architecture is a neural network architecture. It doesn't look like one like in this picture because it's a very high-level picture describing components of the architecture, but underlying it would be a neural network. This is a conceptual image of a neural network. It would be much more complex, would be different in different implementations, but this is what a neural network looks like in general. And when you hear the term parameters, like parameters being optimized or trained, what is meant is these weights, so these little connections between the different neurons. They are the weights of the neural network, and the larger the neural network, the more weights they are. These are the parameters, and that is what is being trained, or that's what is being adjusted as the neural network learns. Now, keep in mind, parameters is different to hyperparameters. If you ever see hyperparameters, those are the parameters you can change, or like the machine learning engineer can change when they're like tuning the model. That's separate. That we'll talk about tuning later on. Here we're talking about specifically parameters, and that's a synonym to the weights of the model. So what you need to know for the exam, the most detail you need to know for the exam is that training a neural network is the process of gradually and iteratively adjusting its parameters to improve its ability to recognize patterns and make accurate predictions. That's what training a neural network means. And yeah, here's a summary of what we discussed. All you need to know that transformer is a neural network architecture. That's the main takeaway from today's tutorial. I look forward to seeing you back here next time. And until then, enjoy the cloud.